Hello, bloggers and rappers. We are week 9 of the Wellness Recovery Action Plan, or WRAP as it's commonly known as. This week we went back to week 7 to complete the triggers that we covered in week 7. So what we did today is we focused on one trigger, and a trigger that most people can identify with, and we as a group action planned how we would overcome that trigger and basically let it stop it from affecting you in a negative way, or as much as possible, if that makes sense. So the example we used was dealing with difficult people, especially like maybe ex-partners and who have, who you've obviously been married to or with, and you have children with. That is a really big trigger for a lot of people. So a way to do this is it's called non-violent communication. So it's about being assertive. But there's a process that you go through in your mind. So basically you ask yourself, what's going on? Okay, so what's going on? Okay, I'm having problems with my ex. The kids are acting up. They don't respect me, and I don't know how to bring that up with my ex-partner. Okay, so that's the example. So what do you feel? So you feel, I think I'd feel hurt, I would feel not listened to, that kind of thing. Then the next thing to do is to make a request, okay? And it's about using I language, about owning your own feelings. So you could say, this is the example that we've got, that I've got down. I need you to speak with me with respect. And that's it really. Just be plain, not plain, just be short. And the whole point is if you start going, you make me feel this way, then you're giving a person a chance to kind of confront you. And the whole point is to deal with the confrontation in an assertive way. Okay. Another good thing you could do is if you've got a friend or somebody who's rather supportive, you could maybe rehearse or prepare how you would say, how role play even, how you would go about dealing with the conflict, and just gaining not necessarily a better perspective but a different perspective. So I will put this up onto week 7's triggers list, and you can see exactly how we action planned a trigger. A lot to take in week 9. Quite emotional, but I'm not going to go into too much because it's only 3 weeks, and I've built a really strong relationship with the group. The dynamics have changed, and it's amazing. I can't rave more about group settings. And we were given something that cropped up on week 8 was something that a lot of people do, which is overthinking, or in psychological terms, catastrophizing. And something that resonated with a lot of people is social comparison, especially with technology, especially my phone's going, especially with technology and social media websites and all that kind of thing. I'll just check if it's important. No, it isn't. Okay, lovely. Yeah, so beating the winter blues. A lot of people, especially in England, because it's rather sunny here, isn't it, suffer from seasonal affective disorder. They may not be diagnosed with it, but they are sad, okay, and that is a fact. So we've just, the overthinking, the whole catastrophizing is what the psychobabble talk is ruminating. And research suggests that the more we ruminate, the more our behavior and our thinking and emotions are more negative, and the more unhappy we are. There is a lot of strategies that you can use for overcoming overthinking, and you can mix them up and change them up, and I'm not going to read them all, but I can read you a couple that I think might actually work for me. Distraction is quite a good one. I know it's only temporary, but like my distraction is when I'm feeling like really like negative, and I tend to do exercise. That gets me into a different mind state completely. So that is one of the strategies. There's a lot which I will put up. I mean, you can write them down, you can organize them, make sense of them. There's a whole meditation, which helps you distance yourself. Another one that I found quite interesting is to visualize yourself as a tiny dot on Earth, which is a tiny part of the entire Milky Way, and which makes up I'm going to say this word now, infinitesimal speck of the universe. So, in 150 years, is this really going to matter? In a year from now, is what you're thinking about really, really going to matter? So I think it's about, again, putting your thoughts into perspective and challenging those thoughts and emotions. So that was really cool. Then the social comparison element, which a lot of people do, like I said, with especially with social media websites, just bombarding you with other people's fantastic lifestyles, and nobody's got a flaw, everyone's perfect and everyone's lovely except for me or you. It's not true. So, it's a part of everyday life. And we can't help but notice that someone's richer than us, someone's healthier than us, someone's prettier than us, someone's famous. There's been studies that show that comparing yourself to maybe a celebrity or someone can be quite inspirational and help you achieve goals that you want to. But more often than not, it usually, especially these days, it leads to feelings of negative self-esteem. It kind of feeds into our weaknesses. It just says here, though most of the time comparisons have a negative effect and can lead to feelings of inferiority. I felt that a lot. Distress, loss of self-esteem, envy, and resentment. A good point that it makes is you can't be envious and happy at the same time. And it says people who pay too much attention to social comparisons find themselves chronically vulnerable, threatened, and insecure. So, and we have a few strategies for that, which I will put up onto my blog website under the wrap page later on. Very good. I love this. Okay, so then we started getting really, really psychobabbly. We covered something called the drama triangle. And no, it's not to do with being a drama queen or anything like that, or anything to do with acting. Well, yeah, it is to do with acting roles, but I'll shut up and I'll just carry on. Basically, it's based on a transactional analysis theory. Okay, but we're not going to even go into all of that because that's just like, I don't know, I'll get completely lost. When we're feeling unhappy, more uncomfortable, what we tend to move is we tend to move between three different ways of being, three different roles. So you've got a triangle, if you can imagine, yeah, that's a triangle, and you've got your persecutor on the one side. That'll be the top side. You've got your rescue on the other top side, and then it goes down and there's the victim. Now, these roles are usually formed way back in your past, and it's these roles are usually something that we carry with us into our adult lives. And I'm just trying to keep it as simple as possible. The people can move, quite a lot between from one trait to the other. Even it can even happen in one conversation where you can be persecutor, rescuer, and then victim. The rescuer and the persecutor seem like the higher up positions, and it says here that because it makes people feel superior, okay, and the victim is more vulnerable, and the underdog is always the one that, I'm not even going to go there, right? So the victim just explains about the victim role. So basically, rather than taking responsibility for our own lives, we blame others or circumstances and avoid acting to change the situation. So the victim position is easily recognised by helplessness, martyrdom, protestations of weakness, hard luck stories, and a refusal to act on any possible alternatives. I will put up on the web blog site how you can recognise if you are playing the victim. The rescuer role is when you collude with a person's unwillingness to take responsibility and encourage themselves to help themselves. You are the one that is constantly giving them advice. I think a lot when you're in that role, when I'm in that role in the rescuer role, it's too easy to give advice and forget that people are so resourceful. They become so resourceful when they have to, when they are pushed into the wild and have to defend themselves. Typical rescue behaviours is like pacifying, smoothing over the differences, protracting, defending others, covering up, and a whole host of other problems. Then moving into the persecutor role, nobody likes to think of themselves in that role. I don't like to think of myself in that role. But it's more of a superior and a punishing position, so there's more bullying, I can't say that word properly, and being aggressive, thinking that they're being assertive, but they're not. And you can there's a list of ways that you can recognise the persecutor, which I shall put up on the RAP page. Something that stands out for me is there's a strong sense of you owe me, so they kind of demand compliance and obedience. Okay, so the best way to get out of the drama triangle is to stop avoiding your thoughts, your emotions, and you need to stop avoiding your thoughts and emotions, and you need the big keyword here is responsibility. You need to take responsibility for your thoughts, your feelings and emotions, and there's some ways that you can there's some ways suggested on here that you can stop from being a persecutor, so you can move to being assertive, to stop being in the rescuer role. You can move to being caring, and to stop being a victim, you can move to being vulnerable. And I'll put that all up on how we can stop ourselves moving between that dramatic triangle. And then again, there's staying out of the drama triangle, which is really important, and that's more about being aware that you actually are in those roles. Wow. Okay, a lot of information. I've been going on and on and on. Week 9 is over. It's a wrap. I shall see you next week. I shall update the blog. Check it out. It's free, and bye.